purposes, you want to go ahead and state your name and all that fun stuff?
All right, Richard Roundtree, RICHARDRUNDTREE, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sheriff of Richmond County.
At this point, Sheriff, what do we have going on here at Regency Mall and across this area?
Well, right now we're into phase 2 of our planned search area. This morning, again, we want to start at ground zero at base camp and then work our way outward. You know, I've been seeing a lot of the coverage. I want to thank y'all for covering and trying to get as much information out there as possible. But we do encourage the public to be patient with us in what we're doing. You know, we get a lot of calls about search this area, search Clark Hill. Well, that's like saying search the south side of the moon. I mean, you can't just search a particular area. So what we're doing is our coordinated searches are based on using phone records and tower sites. Like not to get too in depth into the investigation, but as you know, using telephonic surveillance, we're not able to pinpoint it. We have to be within a 3 to 4 mile radius. So a lot of it is based on that type of information. So it's a lot of area to cover. So understand that it's tedious, but it has to be done. Because like I said, our main goal is the recovery of Ms. Carwell's remains and the successful prosecution of the case.
So you said it's kind of based on cell phone records. Is this one of the places where someone was paying close to this investigation?
That is correct. Again, like I said, when we started from the beginning, and as far as we're looking for the missing person case, one of the things you do, again, you're looking for that digital footprint, and one of those is cell phone records and social media activity and those. So we're able to contact those. But again, once that information dies, once that signal is lost, and we have to go back to the last area in which we find. And I'm not saying that is the area that may be the crime scene, but we would be negligent if we didn't go and try to search as much area as the last known place that we could physically put the cell phone or cell phone records. Now that don't mean that individuals were in possession of the phone at the time, but in due diligence and in investigation, we have to cover every base.
And the first search, we know that you guys did not find her remains there, but we were told that you got some leads, some clues. How successful was that first phase of the search?
Well, it was successful for the point of moving forward with the prosecution when we get to that point. Like I said, but our goal this week is the recovery of a body. I think the community needs peace, the family needs peace, and that's our primary goal. Now, once we recover and move forward in the prosecution phase, a lot more information can be revealed. But we did find evidence. We did find information that is connected to this particular case, and we feel in the future that's going to be significant. We don't know how significant at this point because one particular piece of evidence we found is being processed as we speak. I don't know, will it yield? It may put us in another area in which to search, and it may not. But we're processing that as we speak, and if that information becomes available while we're still here, then we will shift our focus to wherever that information leads us.
Can you confirm where you found this evidence and if it's connected?
No, not right now. We know it's connected to the case. We just don't know how significant it is until we can analyze it.
One of the sites in Augusta.
We found that during the first phase. That's correct.
And this search in particular, how long will this last today, and how confident are you that her remains can be in this particular spot?
Well, again, based on the evidence we got, we're basically searching a 3-mile radius in every direction. So you can tell, and that's why we definitely want to thank our partners who have come out, because you know, with the sheriff office, we have significant resources, but we still have to do the day-to-day functions of law enforcement in Richmond County. So with the other law enforcement agencies and partners and GSP and the Board of Education, utilities, fire department, Gold Cross, now probation partner, parole has come out, DNR, the district attorney's office. All these partners have come out, so it eases the burden for Richmond County, so we can conduct the search as thoroughly as possible, but also, again, continue the normal day-to-day activities of law enforcement in Richmond County. So we're going to try to finish up the areas in which we have today. We think we have enough people to cover it. I know that there are some people have wanted to start their own searches. After we conclude today, based on our forensic searches, if groups want to go out, by all means, if they want to go out and look and want to participate in the way they can, we just tell them to give us this day today. Let us work it as scientifically as we possibly can. and hoping for the best results based on that. Now, we don't find anything today. Have we given up on the case? Absolutely not. But these are things moving forward in the case, and prosecution-wise, we have to be able to say, ultimately, we get in front of the jury that these are the things we did. This is the steps we did. These are the man hours. This is every possible lead we could follow. We followed up. So we have to be thinking months and years down the road based on this case coming to a conclusion. But right now, we want the resolution to be able to lay her remains to rest.
Leon Tripp, Tanya Tripp, are they talking at all?
Both of them have regained counsel at the present time. So we'll see how that goes.
You said have not gained counsel?
Have retained counsel.
Have retained. Okay. And tomorrow, let's say you said you'll of course keep moving forward. What will tomorrow look like? What will the rest of this week look like?
They'll be evaluated at the end of the day. Based on what is found at the end of the day, like I said, we did find a piece of evidence that is being processed from this morning. I don't know how significant it is right now, but once we process that, and then once we conclude the search today, based on if we find some information, we have found some materials on this search. We don't know if they're related to this case, because again, it's not going to be an immediate, if we found an item of clothing or something, we can't immediately tie it to the case, but it has to be processed, saved and preserved to look at the totality of it. So we're just going to be depending on how the day goes. We know we're going to be here long as the weather holds out until we complete the patterns which we've already established. So we're going to complete that if the weather holds out, of course. Then after that, we'll evaluate at the end of the day and see what's our next step.
A lot of people are hoping still, even though you said this is a homicide, they're still hoping that she's alive. What do you tell them when it comes to, pretty certain that this is a homicide?
Well, the people, in any case, people want to see a body. We would prefer to see a live body, absolutely would. But all we can do is go based on the evidence we have at hand and work diligently from there. We want peace, but based on the information that we have obtained, we feel that we're working a homicide investigation. Again, you can't be 100% sure until we recover the remains, but based on where we are, that is our primary goal, so we can say definitively that we have recovered her body, and now we're moving forward with the prosecution of a homicide case. But we are working a homicide investigation.
And based on your efforts here, it doesn't appear that she ever made it to Atlanta.
I know that's been a lot of contention, and understand this, and let me try to clear a little bit of this up. The information that originally started this case back on the 17th was given to us with a person that we now feel is not credible. So almost all of the information that we were originally given, we have to go back and reevaluate that. So a lot of people we've seen about check between here and Atlanta. Right now, we have no evidence to suggest that she ever made it to Atlanta. Now, I'm not saying that they're not, but we have no evidence whatsoever to suggest that she ever made it to Atlanta.
Sheriff, that had to be a really strong testimony from whoever it was Friday to lead y'all on this path. Can you shed any light on who that was?
I can't. I really can't.
Can you confirm if it was Tanya Tripp?
I cannot. Like I said, again, this is the legal process, and again, we're looking for the remains, but eventually we're looking for a successful prosecution too. So people need to understand that it doesn't just stop with the recovery of her remains or this aspect of the investigation. We may be 2-3 years down, and based on the totality of the circumstances, the district attorney has to decide how she wants to go with the punishment phase of it. A lot of things are on the table right now, and we asking the public, let us do our job. We've been doing it a long time. I worked homicide for 10 years. There's a lot of things that you're not going to understand why we do it, why we have to do it, why it seems like it's a waste of time, why there's a lot of things that involve, because again, our goal is the successful prosecution of a homicide investigation.
Friday, you mentioned there was no physical evidence found in the home. Was that because you were looking for someone alive at first, or did your investigation through chemical searching, have you done an intensive search to see if she was killed in the home?
We have, and like I said, we initially searched the home, but again, at the onset of the missing person, and the public would know that a lot of people were taking the mother's at her word originally. So everything that she said, they were assuming to be true. Now, unless in the absence of anything else, we had to assume it was true also. because we had no contradicting facts until facts started coming up to the fact that led us to lead to the kidnapping charge. And then, as you know, she defended that going forward. So we had a lot of obstacles in the case. So a lot of the information that was found when we did the original searches, our sincere goal was hoping that we found Ms. Carwell alive, either injured, being detained, unable to communicate, but alive. So that's what we were looking for. At the time, we had no reason to go in with a forensic search of the home because we weren't working a homicide investigation. Now again, once that focus changed, then our search patterns, our search area, and how we search things, that in fact changes also.
Did you go in and do a forensic search inside the home, and if so, did you find anything indicating that she was killed in the home?
Not at this point, no.
Sheriff, you know, now there's so many things up in the air, so many things you're still looking forward to getting for a successful prosecution. What does this mean for charges against Tanya and Leon right now? The fact that there's still no body, the fact that y'all are still looking for a lot of evidence.
Well, and that's why all the pieces are important, and that's why people have to understand. It's still a judicial process. They still have their days in court. But when they go to court, and we go to court too, we want to be able to present our side of the case to the judge as for reference to bond or whatever he decides, that we can say these are the information that we have, this is what we believe, this is the direction we're going, these are the things that we have done, these are the things we're going to continue to do, and then hopefully the bond will be a no issue, and then we can continue what we're doing here until we find the body, and then we'll move forward. Now, not ruling out anything, we have successfully prosecuted cases in Richmond County without the discovery of a body. We're not there yet. But again, that's why you have to do all these things, because that may be a likely outcome. So we have to plan for all cases, all scenarios to move forward again with successful prosecution.
So we can expect evidence from today to appear at Tanya Tripp's bond hearing on Friday?
If it is significant, that is correct.
My question also, so sorry I lost it. Maybe you can answer something else if you want. My question is, you've already found holes in Tanya's story as far as the fact that right now you have no evidence to believe that she ever went to Atlanta. What other holes have you found in the story? The time that she said she left?
Going back over from the moment we made contact, or the moment she made contact with us, because remember, she brought us into this investigation. From the moment she brought us into the investigation, we have found numerous statements that were proven to be false by her. Not just as it relates to this case, but as it relates to her personal life, information she's given to other information of people regarding some things that were going on in her life. So we found numerous cases where she has been totally untruthful, just straight lies.
Can you tell us some of the cases in which she's been untruthful?
No, some of them, like again, are not related to this particular case, but it goes to the pattern that we have to go back. So we have to actually go back and say, anything she told us, we cannot believe. We can only go by what we can confirm. And the only thing we can confirm is we knew that Ms. Carwell was home the night before she was reported missing.
Tanya Tripp had two vehicles. She had a car and a truck. Can you tell us where those vehicles are now?
Right now, we're trying to get those vehicles back so we can reprocess them again. Like I said, Monday, every piece of evidence that we went over that we have access to again, just to be totally certain, we want to go back through them. We think we did a good job going through, but if we work in the case and we have the manpower, we're going to go back in case we miss something.
Have you done a forensic search in any of those vehicles?
We have, but again, we will be going back over everything we've done. And again, you think, so if you say 3 years from now, if we are in the prosecution phase, we can testify on court and understand the steps we did to make this a very strong case.
We understand that Tanya Tripp took a U-Haul and then those two vehicles to Atlanta. 3 vehicles made it to Atlanta. You have 2 people in custody. Any idea who that third individual driving that third vehicle might have been?
We have identified the individual who has provided transportation to either one of 2 of the trips. We don't feel they're connected to them into the case. At the time, again, they're working on the consumption that we're working a missing persons case. So we've interviewed that person on more than one occasion. They are cooperating with law enforcement. They've made themselves available to us. We've been able to verify information through this individual, so we do not feel that they are actively involved in the investigation.
Is the sheriff's office interviewing the younger sister to Latania Carwell?
Again, you're talking about a 7-year-old. We're not at that point yet. Would that maybe something in the future? Yes. But even though this is a criminal case, it's still a human case. You're talking about a 7-year-old child who knows that her sister is missing, her mother is incarcerated, her world has been turned upside down. So, you know, that is something that may be explored in the future, but if it's something we can avoid, we will do everything we can to avoid putting her through additional trauma that we know she's going through.
We did find out that the Carwell family attended church on Easter. I know that area is kind of like deserted, but have you checked any video cameras in that neighborhood to see where the family may have gone after that? Also not sure if there was actually a cookout at the home on that Sunday night, all leading up to
well, like I said, based on what we have, and that's why we started back at the house, we have enough forensic evidence to put Ms. Carwell at the home that night.
That night at what time?
Before midnight.
Before midnight, the 16th.
Correct. Going into the 17th. Correct. So.
Anything else?
Anything else? I'm trying to clear up as much as I can.
This past weekend, I know there was some search that was done.
Yes.
Tell us where that search was.
Yeah, we were able to bring in a cadaver dog team from the Metro Atlanta area, and we were searching an area around the Georgetown subdivision area off of Deansbridge Road.
You said after Deansbridge Road?
Yeah, across from the mall area.
What did you glean from that? Or what did you gather from that?
The dogs didn't come across anything that was significant to this investigation. And again, that was based on telephonic forensic mapping too. So, anything else? Anything else? Well, like I said, if something else come up, we'll immediately brief you on it. If we get something significant, because like I said, we know everybody's watching. We know, and I can't reiterate it again. And I've been following the case, just trying to get leads and trying to answer some questions. We're not withholding information. We did not discover a body on Friday. We're still looking for the body, and if we find it, we will immediately let people know. So just understand that that is our goal and that is our mission, and trust us to do that, and trust us to do our job, and have faith in it.
Did you find any evidence connected to the case Friday?
No, nothing that was covered that we feel was connected to this case. So.
You did find a turtle. People think I'm lying.
I know people think it was a turtle inside the box, and we have pictures. I think pictures were posted of it. It was a full-size toolbox. The problem, and I will go into a little further, the problem that took us so long to process it is because the box was full with dirt. So once the box was full with dirt, working on the assumption that you may have an active crime scene, you can't just dig it out. You have to sift it out. So we had to wait until we get to the bottom of the toolbox so we can definitively say there was nothing inside it. And that takes time. Yeah. And that's why people want to know it took so long. It took that much time to process it because it was filled with dirt. So.
Sheriff, have you seen anything this crazy? 10 years of homicide work, you're sheriff, so I know you've seen a lot. Has this got you baffled, like, man, what's going on? What is happening?
No, we know we're confident we work in homicide investigation. And we worked them before, we've had tragedies before. Like I said, right now, we know her remains are somewhere. Eventually, we're going to find them. We know that. We're trying to find them this week. But we know we're going to find them. And then we're going to move forward, again, with the prosecution of a homicide investigation. Now, you have to understand, when you're dealing with the criminal mind, when people say, I don't understand why a mother would do this, why a father would do this, why people, you're never going to understand because that's not your mindset. So don't try to wrap your head around something that's not going to make sense to you. And that's what I've learned from the 10 years of working homicide. It's not going to make sense because it's not right. It doesn't supposed to make sense. We'd be living in a very chaotic world if it made sense. It doesn't supposed to make sense.
I'm hearing saying that it's pulling on your resources a lot, and how just you're a parent, you're investigators, our parents. I mean, is this tough? This is the case tough.
It is. I mean, because you think about a young lady turning 16, and I've made this comment before. Everybody's turned 16 once. It was something you look forward to doing. It was a milestone in your life. It's something that everyone growing up being a sweet 16 has just been something that's been a part of our culture for a very long time. And she would never have anything to experience beyond that. So yeah, I mean, that's one spirit within in this county that would never realize the potential that she may have. And I think this case has hit home so hard is because I think everybody can relate to that. I think all the citizens, anybody who have children, or if you don't have children, you have nieces, nephews, or cousins, you can relate to that. So yeah, we relate to it. Now, yeah, is it pulling on our resources? Absolutely. But this is what we do. And this is what we plan to do. So whatever resources we have is going to be devoted to recovering her body and laying her to rest.
Sheriff, you said homicide investigation several times, and homicide doesn't necessarily mean murder, but do you believe that you're working a murder investigation, and do you believe Leon Tripp and Tanya Tripp work together or not?
The first part, I would say yes. We think we're working a murder investigation. We're doing it for the prosecution of a murder case. We know that both of them have been in communication after the fact. The level of involvement of each individual, we don't know yet. And we may never know, and we may learn to know. The body may tell us something. Evidence that come up may tell us something. We may get the phone call that we're looking for that may help us in that particular case. Because like I said before, it's been 2 months. We feel the individuals who were connected to the case have told someone. We just need that person to reach out to us. And like I said, we don't care about a name or address. We're not trying to track them down. I would take a sticky note in the mail if it leads to recovery of her body.
Do phone records show, you said at some point after the fact, do phone records show how soon those conversations started between Leon and Tanya? Like, does it show that they started talking the week that she went up to Atlanta?
And that part I really can't get into.
At this point, based on your evidence, do you know intent? That's the one thing I can't seem to put
No,
my head.
and no one can right now. And sometimes you never will. And then it may be something that'll come out in trial. So, all right?
Yep.
All right, we good?
I got some off